Welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, the Camarilla and Anarch venue. Tonight we have a citizen, a member of the Camarilla, who has, after, not a lot of time in kindred perspective, but certainly a lot of time for a mortal, has returned to the city, or planning to return, to assist the Camarilla, hopefully. Um, After a bit of digging, and after a bit of phone calls and other methods, he has found someone who, at least appears to be on his side, appears to be from his clan, but, well, you can never be too sure. So, currently, in a cafe uh, that is opened to the small hours of the evening, a person is sitting. He's actually, at this moment, alone, unless Daniel actually brought a ghoul. I don't know if he did. Did he?
Daniel probably did not bring his ghoul into the cafe, but he's probably parked somewhere nearby. Um, Daniel is sitting at a cafe table, feeling a bit un- uneasy with the whole situation. He notices that he's dressed a bit outdated. Three buttons on his suit, and maybe not the sort of shoes that someone would wear to the public uh, meeting such as this. And he notices all this because back in his day he was some sort of socialite. So he sits there trying to not look as nervous as she actually is.
Um, After some time, it's not been that long, but a man and a woman enter. They look like a couple, maybe in their 40s. Uh, there isn't that much talk between them, but the they do something that is a little bit odd, since the man just sits at a table on the other side of the cafe, like close to the counter, and the woman will just come closer to you, and she will walk up. She'll be a little bit distance, and will just look at you and nod.
Daniel stands and nods with a smile that he hopes is not too stiff. I take it it was you that I spoke with on the phone, or one of your associates.
Oh, it was my companion. She looks
Ah,
over to the man. Um,
uh,
but yes, he takes all my phone calls.
yes, he was quite a pleasant phone call. Um,
Ah,
it's
as pleasant as you can when you have to speak in codes. She
of
smiles.
course, we all do. We need to keep safe, and we need to be discreet also. I have heard that the situation in New York is sort of troubled at the moment.
And then some. Well, I have recently arrived myself with, well, my servant, and, well, along with a contingent. And she quiets down, and you can see she checks herself, just makes sure, and she quiets down a bit and sits next to you and just says, "I've recently arrived with, along with other members from Europe."
Yes, from our organization. Uh, Daniel sits down beside her and turns a bit as to not look entirely away from her, so that he sort of turned towards her.
Well, it is always good to have more to assist in the fighting. Um,
Yes, and the rebuilding, hopefully.
Quite so.
There would
You
be
can
no
you
use.
you can
Of
take
course.
a perception empathy roll. The difficulty is not that high since she's not really hiding it.
Let me just and dice roll.
Dice strain.
Is that is that a certain website I need to use?
Can you see the app that is called Dice Stream in the left side of the
Yes,
screen?
I can.
Click it,
I
and then it should be self-explanatory from then on.
yes, I think I got it. Yes, yes. Find D10. And you said perception, empathy, right?
Yeah.
Uh, if I have my Auspex active, is that the time to say that?
If you do, yes, then you will reduce the difficulty by 1.
And yes, I am rolling 4 dice.
Wow, you pass. Very well, actually. You get the feeling that, well, you can't read him since he's off in the distance, but it appears as though she is about as nervous as you are.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she's not like this is whether it's the situation or it's just the city. You can't really tell, but it's clear that she's nervous, but it's not necessarily about you.
Yeah,
She seems to look outside the windows a bit more than you would normally do. Like
sure.
you catch that a couple of times. So I mean, you catch that much. But yeah. But then she just says, "Well, we have the Sabbat to worry about, but we also have our dear prince. Well, dear former prince.
Yeah, I I am not entirely sure what the problem with His or Her Majesty is, but I'm sure it's
Well, he died
ah uh,
when the invasion was at its highest.
that's very regrettable.
It is. And his wife, she says that like it's not like a euphemism or anything, but his wife is an elder of our clan
Oh,
and
our?
has
Oh,
our
then,
clan.
yes, yes. I just needed to be absolutely sure that you were referring to a shared lineage and not your own lineage. Just
No, it's quite all right. I understand that sometimes there's a bit of, well, uncertainty in those things. She laughs a little and smiles and she says, however, another has also claimed the princedom, which means that we have a contended princedom in the midst of a Sabbat fight.
uh-huh.
We need, it seems, regrettably, that we have to fight both things at the same time.
So who is the candidate for the throne exactly?
An elder of Clan Nosferatu, named
Yes,
Theodore Williams.
and Mr. Williams is opposed to who?
Maria.
Maria.
Maria, of elder of Clan Torid.
Yes, 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 yes. How are you affiliated with Her Majesty, Miss Maria?
I'm not I'm simply a loyal servant of the clan and of the Camarilla, she says. And that came across, I mean, with your 2 successes, that came across somewhat practiced or rehearsed.
As if it's a line she's
It's
reciting.
it's somewhere between something you have to remember to say every time you, I don't know, you come into a restaurant and you see someone eating, you say bon appetit, and the fact like in order not to get into trouble, you always have to say this thing and remember to say it. So it's not clear what's most of it, but it's clear that that was like a very very rehearsed line.
So Daniel sort of sits up a bit more straight, and when he notices this, he says, "Oh well, but we are all simply servants of the Camarilla. But
Yes, yes,
uh,
yeah, of
since
course.
you were chosen for this, there must be some reason that."
Oh well, I have just um, well,
I'm not trying to insinuate this is a punishment for
well,
you.
no. It's quite all right. My sire
Mm,
met some ghouls that have been starved of blood for quite some time when he
right.
arrived, and one of them had some contacts to his former sires. Well, contacts. And when he found out that you had rang him, well,
Mm,
the ghoul notified my sire, and my sire gave me this assignment. So I do as he commands, of course.
of course, we all do. Sires are sires after all.
Yes, 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 they are. Um,
What
so,
might I call you, my dear?
Teresa,
Teresa. I'm Daniel. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
likewise. Um, but as far as I could understand by the ghoul, he did not know much, but you have been living out of town for some time?
I have, due to complications of the mortal variety, I have chosen to put some distance between me and the kindred society for a few years. It has been for my own sanity, the constant intrigue and the wars and the threat of the Sabbat. I just needed to get away from it all for a few years. So yes,
Oh,
I've been.
okay. Well, I mean, she just let it sit rest there. She doesn't ask anything else. She just nods and just looks and just says, "Well, I mean, it's very good, but um, we are under somewhat strict orders to make sure that everyone who arrives to the city is safe for the moment being. And there is a hold up location where most people go, and I have been instructed by the acting warlord to make sure that you find this place and at least stay one night there so you're safe
And
for the
who
moment."
exactly is the acting warlord? Just so I'm somewhat informed.
And Ancilla Isaac of Clan Gangrel.
Ah, well, wasn't there some kerfuffle with the whole Gangrel bloodline and the Justica some time back?
Um, she looks at you and smiles, and a little of the nervousness goes away. It seems like gossip is her thing. As she says, "Well, yeah, there has been quite a bit of rumors, but well, at least here, I don't know if it's the United States, but it seems as though the
It's
Gangrel
quite
here
an.
are in quite large numbers when it comes to the Camarilla. Um, I didn't
So
see
they have.
too many in Europe, but here it seems that there are many of them that side with the Camarilla.
So they remain loyal. That's quite interesting. Quite fascinating.
Well, at least apparently, at least the ones in the city, but
Yeah,
that's
none
not
here.
a lot, so I wouldn't. Well, but it has been quite a tumultuous thing in Europe. That is very clear.
Yes, yes, exactly. Maybe I'm just out of date. I need to
No,
sort
no,
of.
no. I
Ca-
my sire had a quite a few choice words about it. She smiles.
I can imagine. But
Yeah, but that was some
since I've
time
been
ago. He was a bit agitated about it, the whole thing.
Yes, but that's quite understandable. I would have been as well. But since I've been away from it all for so long, what would you say was some of the things that have happened in my absence that I would need to know about? Of course, this entire spat about the prince and the two candidates is very fascinating indeed. There must be something closer to the ground.
Well, as I said myself, I've only been here for a very limited time, but what I know is that Leo Galante, elder of Clan Ventru, was killed
Oh,
4 or 5 months ago, the prince of the city.
tragic.
Yes. Um, Zabat, apparently, well, a prominent member of Clan Bruja was acting sheriff for some time and did not do her duty, and that is what allowed her and others, her
And what
actions
was
or inaction were
and
what
who was
allowed
that?
the spot to take hold.
And who was that, Bruja?
She was called Ghost,
Ah,
um, and I can't remember her real name, but I can find out. But she is also met final death now.
oh, tragic.
This war has been costly, and a lot of people have, been killed. But well,
But how is our clan currently doing? Our family? How are we? Of course, we have a candidate in Maria. That's wonderful. But
no, she is the prince. Uh, she's not aggressive when she says that, but she's a slight bit patronizing or attempting to be when she says, no, 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 she's the prince. That's she's indicating that no, 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 she's not a candidate. She's the prince.
oh yeah, why yes, of course. But not everyone would agree that
Oh no,
she's.
but they will know in
They
due
will.
time, of course. But yes, yes, and
They will.
she nods appreciatively when you say that.
They will get
Um,
better ideas.
oh yes, they will. She nods and then is a bit more comfortable, and then she says, "Well, beyond that, I know that two people who turned to the Sabbat during this have been killed.
Mhm.
Samantha, the former mistress of Harpies, and the former hound, Emily Stevenson, have both met final death.
Excellent.
And, well, with the current, well, reinforcements, which I was a part of, this city is in good hands, I would say.
Yes. How many of our family are we here, except you and I and Her Majesty, of course? Who else would be of our
Hmm,
kind?
I will have to ask around, but I believe it is my sire, uh, an ancilla um named. He's a friend of my sire's. Uh, it's a Gregory. He's an ancilla, and of course,
As a
there's
group.
also an elder in the city of our clan.
Yes. I see. I see. Well, we won't have to dig further into that. I'm sure that we will have plenty of time to catch up and mingle when the time comes.
Quite so. Quite so.
Is there
Um,
anything I can do for Her Majesty or for our organization currently?
well, the more information we have on movement, the more information we have on, well, anything that goes on, that is, of course, reported to the warlord, the better. And
Aha.
and then she pauses, smiles, and of course, anything that can show the truth of this impostor's claims, the better.
Ah, yes, something to cement the image of Her Majesty in the minds of her subjects, of course.
Yes, I'm afraid I myself do not know enough about the current situations as to point you in specific directions.
Ways, of course. But I would have to make the acquaintance of this Nosferatu. I'm sure that he must have something of interest. I'm not saying that we should give him the credit of the title, but there must be some strength to his claim that we would need to examine to find out how to best undermine it.
Um, uh, and she stumbles a bit here. Like she doesn't really know what to say about that. Just yes, he must have something we can um, attack.
Yes. Comparatively, what would Her Majesty have as strengths or something that she would?
The backing of the Camarilla, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Why,
Well,
yes, of course. But there must be.
all of the high clans support her claim.
Yes, that's a given. But why this? Why do they support her? I'm trying to sort of.
It is her. It is her by right. She was married to Leo Galante, our former prince.
Ah, so it's a blood relation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Out of character.
Yes.
You know that that is not necessarily anything that holds water.
Yes. That's
Like,
exactly what I was thinking.
but yeah, but you also get the feeling like you did roll very well, and I don't think anything has changed. This seems more of a dodge than an actual answer.
Can I try to, roll some social to pressure her to slip up and to say something that she...
You can do a charisma subterfuge if you want to,
Subterfuge?
and depending on that, and you can. Well, we'll see. First, you just
Wouldn't manipulation
press.
wouldn't manipulation be more adequate here?
Oh, of course, manipulation. Of course, yes.
Yes. Would you say?
Just press clear so you remove the dice at the top that are there now.
Yes.
There you go.
If I have a speciality that might... No. That doesn't work. Never mind. And then I click roll.
You still actually get 2 successes, which is good.
So I'm sort of trying to say, my dear, that I'm not trying to undermine the claim of Her Majesty. I'm simply trying to hear if the Nosferatu were to fabricate some vile lies as to her strengths or weaknesses, what would they be based upon? Just so I am informed, so that when I talk to the Nosferatu, I don't slip up.
Oh, well, um, well, she's, well, from what I know, there's a bit more to it. Her Majesty and Theodore they have a very long history, I suppose, and it is just as much a spat between them as it is. I'm sure that the Nosferatu would say that she is not listened to by, well, a lot of the local people, and they might think that a commander's job is to be on the front line with the troops, which is of course not true. They might say that she is somewhat removed from events, which would be wrong, of course.
But of course, if Her Majesty chose to be removed from things, that would be entirely within her right.
Exactly.
So this hideout, how would I go about finding it?
I have a number I call, and you'll be escorted down there.
Ah.
Apparently, and she sends a message. Actually, she does make a phone call. She says, yes, my elder. Yes. Hello. Yes, The contact I have. Yes. The address? Yes. And she gives the address. I don't know it. 10 minutes. Okay. Yes. Well, in 10 minutes' time, there will be someone to pick, well, us up.
Ah,
I live down there as well. I must say, considering the circumstances, it's actually somewhat comfortable.
considering the circumstances.
Yes, and considering that. And she stops herself again.
Considering what, my dear?
Well, it's nothing. Um, it's just
Of course, if
the
you don't
sooner
want to
the
talk
sooner we
about it.
can the sooner we can get out of there, the better. It's just I'm not. Well, it's underground, and it's. Well, um, she sits there and she will just excuse me for a moment, and she'll take up her smartphone. Um, she gets up and you manage to catch a glimpse of it. It looks for all the world like she's looking at like not a real existing movie site, but like a critic site
Yes.
for movies
Hmm?
and books for a moment, and she scribbles down and looks at them and taps a few things. You only manage to catch a glimpse, but you see a couple of posters for a film scroll by um, with some stars next to it. So you make that, uh, um,
Observation. Yes.
yeah. And well, after 10 minutes, give or take, a man will enter the establishment. That face, like that facial expression, if you didn't know better, you would say that that was glued on and could not change.
Uh-huh.
He has this expression does not change. He just looks around, nods to Teresa, just say, and just nods over to you, and she nods, and just he comes over to you and just says, "Good evening,"
Good
and
evening.
puts a hand out.
I extend my hand and shake his and say, Rodenberg, it's a pleasure. And you are,
Um, Michael Kellogg.
Mr. Kellogg. It's a pleasure.
Likewise. Well, I suppose we should get going.
Yes.
And he has this fairly monotone and almost expressionless voice. That is like there is very little emotion in this guy,
Yes.
seemingly. And he'll just the both of you will get out. He has a small suitcase with him in a suit that is it's clean and it's there's not it doesn't seem to be custom, but maybe it's a little older. It's probably like maybe the age of your suit.
He's as dry as I am, fashion wise.
Yeah, fashion wise, yes. And but the three of you will just go with him, and you'll
When
walk a
I
bit.
when I exit the building,
Hmm.
I make sure to get a feel for where my ghoul is. Just look around. If he's sitting in the car nearby, I will nod in his general direction and let him know that I am not being intimidated or forced to go
Okay.
uh, anywhere, and just
Hmm.
wave my hand a bit
Hmm.
and clap my pocket, pat it a bit so that he knows that I have a telephone. I will call him if I need him.
All right. You walk a couple of blocks, then you turn a corner into an alley,
Mhm.
and this Mr. Kellogg guy
Mhm.
will just say, "Hold for a moment," and you can take a perception awareness roll. And remember
Perception.
to clear the dice from your thing. Else you'll get
Perception.
very many successes.
Entirely too many. Awareness is that a talent? Or...
That is a skill, I think. No, no,
I can't.
talent. Talent, sorry.
I don't think I can see awareness on my sheet. I think
It
I
is
have
in the same
alertness.
group as alertness. If you do not have it, you can take a perception roll, but at one higher difficulty.
Yes, so that would be at a normal difficulty considering all specs.
Actually, with Auspix, you probably see it anyway, but okay. Yeah.
I will roll my perception. There we are.
Wow. Okay. Um, you're quite sure that he just used a blood discipline? Like, he used something. But you don't see any immediate change. Um, but
Uh,
you're quite certain that he did something.
he did.
And
He did some shit.
he did something. Um, as you begin to move out of the alley, you will notice that people, they don't really look at you. And a couple of times you see some, like, you're mostly going through alleys for a while, but there are some bums that they don't seem to, like, they almost kind of shift between you every once in a while. When they would have gone into you, they just kind of turn to the side. No one of them really seems to be looking at you, or
Notice.
for all the like, it seems as though they don't notice you at all. Um, but you spend a good deal of time going through one alley, going through, like, you're making some circles and some turns and twists, so it's quite hard to follow. And at some point, you will come to a sewer entrance where this guy will just have the lady open the manhole cover, which she does, and bid you all to go inside, and he will
Yeah.
follow you.
Well, I'm thinking that I go second down into the manhole.
There does not seem to be well, there doesn't seem to be any like direct order you have to go in, but you can manage. And the manhole cover is closed by the ghoul, who enters last. And as you go down, you also spend some time. It's not the smelly part of the sewers, but it's still not the pleasant. But again, you will spend some time walking and making some turns and twists until you come to a place that looks completely ordinary. But this guy, first of all, you can tell that something dissipates, like, and it's probably from him. Something happens. Some discipline fades. You're thinking. It would also make sense, but he does seem to fiddle with something in the wall that is extremely well hidden, and there is a small opening that is opened, and he will just say, "Please, everyone." And he will let you inside. There is a couple of things that are opened in order to get inside. You are greeted by a fairly spacious place, considering you can hear talk and lots of other things around. You can hear talk. You can hear discussions, snippets of phone calls. You think maybe, but the door behind, or the way behind you, is closed as you enter. You are standing in what is colloquially known as the bunker for obvious reasons, because some of this looks like old like 1960, 1970s fallout shelters.
Uh-huh.
Some of it, but it's been abandoned and then repurposed. You're thinking, but that's what it looks like for you, and you can see that there are several places where people aren't asleep.
Oh,
And
well, I just look around and smile and try not to look too out of place,
right,
which
he
which I
will.
obviously fail.
No, no, but he like Mr. Kellogg. He again without moving a muscle in his face. He just turns and he says, "Good job. I will notify Theodore and Isaac that he has arrived, and as soon as possible, if they need anything, they will talk to you." He looks at you.
I
Um,
I I nod and smile.
yeah, like again, like you're quickly getting the feeling that this guy doesn't smile, but it's not because of you; it's because of him. Like
he,
this guy
he,
doesn't smile or move any muscles in his face apparently ever.
it,
Um,
it's nothing personal. He just
no, it just doesn't seem to. But he just nods and says, "Have a good evening," and leaves.
you too.
And yeah, he makes his way into the interior of the bunker. And
Mhm.
as I believe that Teresa will, she'll spend some time with you. She'll converse. She seems a bit more relaxed now.
Yeah,
When she's in here, it's obviously like it's not something that really anyone but the Nosferatu kindred would enjoy. She seems a lot more comfortable here.
yeah.
That's very apparent.
So I just
And
so I make an effort to not discuss politics further and just simply chat about current events or seeing as I noticed how she was a fan of the theater. I will talk about the new releases. Any recommendations of movies I should go see or something like that.
and with that and the following 3 or 4 hour conversation, that will not be a part of this scene. I think we will call this scene to a close
Yes, let's
because
do
that is
that.
something she will talk about for a very long time.
Yes, I can imagine.
Thank you very much, player, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.